What is up, everybody? Welcome to another Lunch and Learn with Chris Weiser. Also, this doubles up as our seven-figure MSP podcast, so it's really, really cool to do. So we're on video for our people that are on the internet watching on the stream, and we're on audio for the people that are watching, or I should say listening to us on the podcast. So we got a pretty cool little discussion today that's going to happen. I have, for those of you that don't know what I do on a day-to-day basis, I run Seven Figure MSP, which is a managed service provider coaching firm. We teach managed service providers, which are IT and outsourced IT, I should say cybersecurity and outsourced IT experts is what these guys are worldwide. But we teach them in my program how to sell better and how to market. And I have a bunch of coaches on my staff, and I have my head marketing coach, Lindsay Badillo, here with me today. Welcome, Lindsay. How are you doing?
Hi, I am good. Just wrapped up a coaching call, so happy to be here with you, Chris.
Coming in hot, right?
Literally just coming off of the other call in here. So I'm excited to be here. I think this is going to be a really, really good talk that we're going to have today.
So one of the things that, and this is no slides, nothing. It's just Chris and Lindsay talking, and it's kind of fun because we don't get to do this a lot, which is kind of interesting. Lindsay and I coach a lot in person. We also coach a lot virtually, but rarely do we get to do this with each other in a open forum. So it's kind of cool. So, and I know, we're going to have a lot of people watching today. We are obviously recording for the podcast. We're streaming on multiple Facebook groups. We're also streaming on YouTube. We're streaming on LinkedIn. So we got all this different stuff. We're going to have a bunch of people that are here live. So those of you that are watching with us live, we're probably going to have various different comments and all these things that are going on. But if you have questions related to marketing, lead generation, traffic, I've been putting up working on a lot of LinkedIn content lately, working on a lot of cold email content lately. Those are things that we're using. Feel free to ask me. Feel free to ask Lindsay. So Lindsay, I want to get into it. I got a couple quick questions for you, and then feel free, we got anywhere from 20 minutes to an hour we can take on this, depending on what we got in terms of content. What would you say, and note, you were not an MSP person coming into working for my firm.
No, it wasn't. I literally had to Google what MSP meant. But I have learned so much over this year, working with our team, working with our members every single day in the trenches with these guys, and really just seeing how important it is that the work that we're doing. So yeah, I did not come from MSP land, but I'll tell you that marketing is pretty universal. And if you use concepts and you use the things behind it, that they're going to translate across industries just like they translate across platforms. So one of the things that we're really big on is not being so married to a platform. So not saying, oh, well, I've got to have the perfect quote unquote Facebook strategy. It's about, okay, how can I take the concepts that I know work? How can I solve a problem for my ideal client? And that's for an MSP and every other industry out there, and then put that in front of the right people.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Something I heard, I think I read this on Twitter the other day. I'm kind of a Twitter dork.
I know. I love your Twitter threads that you send.
Yeah, I send you threads all the time. I'm it's like 4 a.m. Sometimes I wake up early, or like 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm staying up late. I send Lindsay all these different threads of stuff that I'm reading and watching. But I saw this, which I really, really resonated with. Don't just try and solve a problem for someone, like a singular problem, but envision what their goal is, and then what problems can you solve, which gives you all your lead magnets and your webinars and all these other things. Which problems can you solve for them that helps them achieve their goal, which I think is a really great marketing plan. Like if you had to sit down and say, this is what my marketing plan is going to be, and I'm going to solve these problems to help specific. And one thing I want to talk about with this is, there's a lot of people that try and market just in general. And I'm a huge believer, and I think you're on the same page with me on this, is let's pick a niche or vertical, whether it's dentists or nursing homes or CPAs or whatever. And then let's, and you think about how much easier it is to break down that list and break down what that is, but it's also easy to break down what their goal might be and the problems they have to get to that goal. And then you can market towards that. What's your thoughts on all that?
Yeah, I agree with that. You know what I think stops people from going that route though? Is because they are afraid of giving away too much. So, for example, with our MSPs, they may be thinking, well, if I teach them literally how to set up MFA, or if I
Mhm.
teach them how to do this thing, why are they going to pay me? Why would they do that? And the truth is that you can't give away too much because that one problem is just like a piece. It's just a tiny, tiny speck in the full solution that you provide. And I think that's really that ties into what you're saying. It's like, okay, what's the overall problem? What's the big goal that they're trying to achieve, your ideal clients? But what are all the tiny problems in between that you can start educating, that you can start solving, that you can put out lead magnets for? You can host webinars, you can do live trainings just like this. This is a great example. We're hosting a live training on what you can do today to help in your marketing, right? And we're not afraid that we're going to give away too much because this is just a tiny speck of the solution that we provide. So this is real deal.
And we got a really good comment here. Amanda's actually our CMO, so she just commented on this. I love this. She said, "Give away information, charge for implementation," and I agree with that. I'm in this mindset, and Lindsay, you and I do a webinar, like a pay, like I shouldn't say pay, but we do have a sign up registrant, which is technically paid because you're paying for it in some capacity. We do that once a month. I also do one with our head sales coach, Cindy Phillips. And we are literally saying you can take all this information and implement it on your own. Most people know how to do that stuff. Let's just think about a couple scenarios in life where this happens. Almost everyone knows how to eat right. Almost everyone knows what to do at the gym. If not, you can find it on YouTube. You can find it on Google. So why are people still hiring personal trainers? I have a trainer that works with me 5 days a week because I need somebody to help me. And just like Amanda said on the bottom there, they give me the information. She'll give me meal plans. She'll give me workouts. But I need somebody to hold me accountable, to work with me on discipline, to make sure I show up. Now, let's take that and relate that over to MSP land. Note, guys, this market is shifting dramatically. It's shifted so much. And Amanda, I go back to about 2000 in probably 96, actually. I'm 45 now. So if I go all the way back to 96, I started in internet service provider. I was doing dial-up internet back then. It's before you were like a child. But I was doing dial-up internet. Then I moved to a computer store. Then in 2000, mid to late 2004, I moved into MSP B2B. So if I go all the way back to that history and that relationship, that whole thing was all about tech support.
Yep.
Project work, installs, whatever. That whole thing is shifting completely now. We're in this place now where I don't care if you give somebody the software to use for MFA. You guys that are watching this know this. I don't care if you give them that information, but they still need to implement it. Just like Amanda said, they needed that implementation side. But not only that, they have to say that they've attempted to do it in order to potentially get their insurance claim paid or absolve themselves of any blame.
Yeah.
That's a different world now. So we're in a place where if first of all, everyone's getting hacked. Our episode last week that we did, I had Brian Horning, one of our clients from Philadelphia, on, and he has Exact Cybersecurity is his company, and he's got his Security Squawk podcast that he has as well. We were talking about how everyone's getting hacked. Now our job as managed service providers, I know that I'm not, I have people yell at me all the time. They're like, "Oh, you're not a managed service provider." Yeah, but
you can't sit with us.
I'm immersed. Get away from the table, Chris. It's no lunch table for you. But we're in a place now where they're all getting hacked. Everyone is getting hacked. We were just dealing with my Zoom account because Zoom had a breach and I had to change my email address for Zoom and I had to change my password and make sure that my MFA was updated and all this other stuff because they had a breach. Everyone's getting hacked. Lindsay, you and I had a conversation when we were doing our little debrief on this call this morning, or about this call this morning. So now your job is holding them accountable, making sure discipline's in place, personal trainer, right? And then also making sure that you have documentation to show that they did something. And your job, and you think about this, for years in that tech support, that break fix, that project world, we were in the space of what's the ROI on your IT services.
Yep.
Well, what's the ROI on cybersecurity? I surely hope it's zero. That's a different discussion than we've ever had. So your marketing messages, and this is bringing some times back into where we were, your marketing messages should be around discipline. Give away as much of that stuff. This goes back to that concept. Give away everything.
Yep.
Give it all away. Tell them how to do it. Get them implementing it, because you know what you become then? Say the word, Lindsay.
The expert.
The expert.
Yep.
And we want them thinking about you when they're trying to implement. Oh, shoot, I can't do this. Or even better, they give it to their IT guy, and the IT guy's like, I don't have access to those tools. We better call them for cybersecurity support. We better call them for co-managed or whatever you want to call it. Mm-hmm. Different spot now. So your marketing message should be giving away as much stuff as you can for free, educating them, making sure, there's a couple guys that are in the MSP world. Tom Lawrence is one of them. I don't know if you've even seen his stuff, because you're, again, not from MSP land, but Tom Lawrence has built himself a hell of a YouTube channel. I watched him do this, and he teaches it all for free. Go. And it's made him an influencer and have a lot of power in his local community, because they all see him as the guy.
Yep. They know exactly where to go when they're ready to take that step. And you said a key word there. You said educating. I'm just going to educate. I'm going to educate. And I think that in MSP world, a lot of the clients, and we hear this every single week in that sales calls and our sales open office hours and in marketing open office hours and our hot seats, your clients, your communities, your ideal clients, they just don't know. They're just not up to speed with it. They don't understand the risk that is out there. And a lot of them think that, oh, well, my cybersecurity insurance, those that do have the insurance, which we know is not the majority of them, they think that will cover them. And I think that it's up to us here on the MSP side of things to educate them and to say, hey, that's great that you have that. But again, that's just one piece of this. That's not going to really protect you. And remember, this is a conversation that we've had over the past few weeks now, is remember an insurance provider's job. What's their job? It's to not pay out.
To make sure the claim doesn't get paid. And it's really funny. It's really funny you say that. So I have my brother's cell phone is on my work account, and he pays for it and everything. But his phone got broken, and I was using, I pay my bill with my Chase Ink card, which has cell phone insurance. Well, the claims adjuster came back to me this morning and said, oh, we basically need you to go to the Genius Bar at the Apple store and get verification that the phone's actually broken, because otherwise we're not paying your claim. It's exactly the same thing.
Yep. That's it. Now, what if they said, okay, well, we need verification that you had a screen protector on the phone. We need verification that you had a life-proof case, OtterBox on it. We need to know that you are doing your due diligence of actually protecting the phone. That's what the cybersecurity insurance actually calls for. But I don't think that our clients know that. So we have to make sure that we are educating them through giving out free value, through our live videos, through your email marketing, through your content, through your Facebook lives, all of those streams of marketing that you're educating them. And you're saying, hey, this is the reality of what's going on. Here's what you can do now. I'm here when you're ready for help. I'm here. Here's how you reach me. Here's how you get into our world. Let's have a conversation. And it can be that simple. I think that sometimes marketing, just the word in itself, can feel a little intimidating. You're like, oh, I'm not a marketing expert. Oh, I'm scared of that. And it can be intimidating. But if you can make it as simple as, how am I going to educate someone today? And how am I going to tell them exactly how to work with me? How am I going to tell them how to take the next step?
And we just had our Marketing Machine Live here in Austin last week. And one of the things I said during my little open is, let's not forget, best in class marketing campaigns are 6, 7, 8% conversion rate.
Yep.
So it's a lot of beating your head against a wall for not much results. And it takes a lot of testing, and it takes a lot of work, and it takes a lot of execution. And let's be honest, most MSPs are computer people.
Yeah.
So you have to teach yourself how to be a marketer. And it takes a lot of effort. It's taken me 10 years to get to this place where, and now, for the record, my number one job in my company, I don't care if I was starting an MSP right now, my number one job would be driving leads to the bottom line. That would be And I get this from MSPs so much. I know we need to be good service providers. There's no debate about that. There's nobody saying, oh, we should pick marketing and sales or we have to be a service provider. No, that's a default. Okay, that's a default. But the bottom line is cash flow solves all your problems, and it starts with lead generation. So you have to focus and you have to just go. And it's really important to honestly get off your ass and execute like crazy. Stop overcomplicating things, because that's this overcomplication, paralysis by analysis, and imposter syndrome are the three biggest barriers that I see. And they all kind of fall right into the IT guy or IT gal persona.
Yeah, and I actually see something over here in the comment. I can't see who said it. I don't think they've given StreamYard permission, but it says that mindset. It's about the mindset.
Yeah, I put it on the screen here, but it's just
Perfect.
a Facebook user. Yeah, we can't see who it is, but
And I think that you're so right about that, Chris. And one of the mindset blocks, and that I know of, that I hear, is like, oh, well, I'm not in an area where I can scale, or people are not going to pay these prices, or I can't shift from being the break fix to the actual MSP or MSSP because they're not going to get it. I mean, even speaking of myself, you were just looking today where I literally live in this super rural area. And it's like, well, if I were an MSP, what would I have to do to really get the message out there? What would I have to do? And it would come back to educating, to serving, giving the value. Realistically speaking, I would have to zoom out a little bit, expand my area, get into one of those more populated areas, just the reality of it. But I think it comes down to, what is the mindset that you're going to choose? What are you going to choose? Are you going to choose excuses, or are you going to choose a way to figure it out? Because if we can generate leads, we can sign some deals, then we can hire the tech, we can hire the marketing assistant, we can get the education, we can solve those problems, but it's got to start with getting in new leads,
Yep, I agree. Sorry, I'm muted. I'm actually, this is kind of funny. I live in Texas. And I ordered a standby generator, and it figures literally I'm sitting here all day. They're scheduled all day. The window's 8 to 1. They're showing up right now. So my dogs are barking. So I have my standby generator because we have Texas power grid issues here. So if I got to mute occasionally, that's what it is.
Yeah.
But so much of that is so accurate. And a lot of it is mindset and mind blocks. And so let's take that, we're talking a little bit about that mindset thing and some of these other pieces. Let's take that and say, what are a couple executables? And we're going to do exactly what we tell you guys to do. We're going to give you some free stuff to try. What are some executables? I'm sorry about my dogs. So living at home, working at home. So what are some executables we can give people that are listening right now that they can do right now?
Okay, so executables that they can do right now, no matter where you are, what level of business you're in, I would say, and this is sort of like a process that we actually teach every single week. Ask yourself these questions. And this is just a baseline that'll give you some direction. Ask yourself, and you can remember this acronym, CEO. So ask yourself, what am I going to do to create new leads? Okay, so this may include.
Hey, really quick, I'm going to do this. I'm going to be right back because these guys are now ringing my doorbell. So I'll be right back.
Yeah, go ahead. It's an Amazon package. All right. But asking yourself these three questions. Number one, what am I going to do to bring in new leads this week? How am I creating new leads? So this could be as simple as you going to a chamber meeting, connecting with the insurance agent there, seeing, hey, do you offer cybersecurity insurance? Can we partner together for a lunch and learn? Can we do something together? Can we create a referral partnership? Okay, it could be as simple as you doing the live on your Facebook page and pushing that out to new audiences, new people, driving traffic to your Facebook page. Okay, so asking yourself, what am I going to be doing to create new leads this week? Write this down if you can. Okay, second thing is E. What am I going to do to engage my existing leads? So am I going to follow up with someone who said, hey, yeah, I'll call you back? Am I going to pick up the phone and follow up with them? Am I going to send an email to my current client list? Maybe my break fix clients, I've got them in a list. They're in my email service provider or in my PSA. Can I send them an email and say, hey, here's what's happening today. Let's set up a call. Let's get you an action plan set up to help protect you, to help mitigate this risk. Sharing the current events. For an example, if there's a breach that just happened in a local university or in a local business near you, you are the go-to for that information. So get that out to your community, to your break fix clients. Let them know, hey, set up your MFA, do this, do that, come to us when you're ready for help. Come to us. Let's set up your cybersecurity strategy session. Let's get you a plan in place. Okay, that's driving leads to you, moving your existing leads down the pipeline. And the last piece of it is the O. So what needs to happen operationally? Have you been putting off having a team meeting, talking with your team, setting up Q4 goals for your marketing? Have you been putting off updating your website, updating the SEO? What needs to happen operationally? These are the things that go on the to-do list, and they kind of get bypassed because we're doing all the other things. So what needs to happen operationally to set you up for success in the C and in the O? So,
you brought a couple of really good things up there. And I think one of the things that I want you guys that are listening to think about is way too often is okay, I'm just going to try and sell them managed services over the phone, or I'm just going to try and sell nobody is going to buy managed services on a first time appointment ever. Nobody's going to do that. Nor should you even try. It's way too complex of a product to try and sell on the internet So your goal, like, I don't care where it is. You're not going to walk into a BNI meeting and sell somebody managed services. You're not going to walk into a chamber meeting. You're not even going to do a live event and do a 30-minute speaking gig. You can have everybody super interested. You're not going to sell them and get them to sign a contract, nor should you. Every single thing you're doing now should be geared towards, I just want to get them to raise their hand. Let's book a call. That's where your concept should always go, which means you should have some type of a landing page. And I'm going to let me put a little banner up on the screen here because you guys can see what ours looks like. So ours is this. It's 7figuremsp.com. I'm just going to put the chat thing here. Hold on, let me just get that done. Here's what it is. So it's 7figuremsp.com/book-your-call. That's one of ours. Mm-hmm. So the concept there is to drive them to some type of a page that they can then book a call off of, which leads into your first time appointment. Your first time appointment is feel each other out. What works? Do we fit together? Importantly, are they a fit for me? Am I a fit for them? You have to decide that. Now, part of the challenge that this industry has had for a long time is we were project and tech focused. So the client didn't really need us unless they really, at the specific time they needed us, but they didn't need us overall. So we let price become a decision-making factor. That commoditization crept into this industry. So we were underbidding, undercharging. You guys, many of you that are watching this know that I am the preacher of $250 to $300 per seat deals. Now how I come to that number is that we look at cost and then put an 80% margin on it, which means we're finally charging the right amount.
Which is not crazy, by the way. Like, that's not an absurd amount of profit margin, by the way. Like,
no, 80% is best in class in this industry, for the record. But what Lindsay's saying is, if you look at everything else, it's not even close to insane. But because of the positioning of where we were, we let price become a decision-making factor. Well, here's what I'm going to tell you. Those times are over. You have the ability, if you position yourself and reframe the conversation, you have the ability now to change your price point. Lindsay, you've been here for 9 months, 8 months, 8 months.
Yep.
You've watched this all of our clients. Keep in mind, the average that comes into our meetings is about $68 per seat. You've watched the MSP closing deals every single day, every single week in our program at $200, $300, $400, $500 per seat. It's doable everywhere, but it's all about positioning. And it starts with your marketing message. It starts with your sales process. It starts with driving people to that book a call scenario. And you can book a call in person too. Like, there's no reason you can't do that, but stop defaulting to word vomiting on them about tech stuff is my point. So it should be market, get them interested, getting them to raise their hand with a bevy. And we're going to have you back in a couple of weeks here because today was a little bit unscheduled, but we're going to using a bevy of different scenarios, webinars, in-person events, live events, BNI, all this stuff to get them to raise their hand. And when they raise their hand, then you take them into your sales process. And your sales process is then first time appointment, qualification, discovery, making sure you work out. Then your goal is to book a risk assessment. You cannot, and I'm going to tell you guys, I have people yell at me all the time for this, but you got to think about it from an insurance standpoint because that's the world that we live in now. You cannot touch a network now without assessing risk. And coincidentally, that risk is really also really good for moving the prospect from thinking about money to thinking about risk.
Yeah.
So I want you guys to think about this. It's a lot of stuff to think about. It's a lot of stuff to digest.
And I just want to add one thing to that, Chris. We say it starts with sales, it starts with marketing, it starts with getting them to raise their hand. But before any of that, again, it goes back to mindset. It starts with you having the mindset that it's okay for you to, one, raise your prices. It's okay for you to start marketing strategically. Referrals are great. We love referrals. We have an awesome referral program right here in Seven Figure MSP. But we don't depend solely on that. If we were dependent on just referrals, well, we would definitely not be sitting here right now. So that's great, but you have to get into the mindset of, one, it's okay for you to make more money. It's okay for you to raise your prices. It's okay to have a strategy in place to get more leads into the door. There's nothing deceitful and there's nothing gross about that. That's part of business, and that's okay. And I think that's the first step that has to take place before any of the other things happen. And it's going to make it a lot easier once you wrap your mindset around, okay, I can scale my business, I can grow my business, I can raise my rates because I'm providing top tier service. We know that. We know that you're an awesome tech. You're awesome at what you do. But you have to get into the right mindset first, and then everything else is going to come a lot easier. And when it comes time for you to sit down to make the marketing strategy, you're going to be that much more apt to do it because you're like, yeah, I do deserve this. Yeah, it is okay to make more money. Yeah, I'm ready. Whenever it comes time for you to go and hit go on your live video, you're going to be that much more ready to do it and excited to go and do the thing because you're saying, yeah, I am educating my community. If I'm not doing it, who is? They're at risk. We need to help them. Okay, so it all starts with the right mindset.
Now, one other thing, you mentioned a couple things there that I want to hit on. One of the things is marketing strategy, and I want to come back to that in a minute.
Yep.
But the first thing is you said live video. And one of the things that I've run into with IT people, MSP business owners, et cetera, they don't want to be the face of the company.
Yeah.
So how do we fight that battle? And I have some specific thoughts around it, but I want to hear, I've never asked you this, and I want to hear what your take is, because part of the problem is you're a computer person. You started a company because you like computers, you like technology, you like being in the trenches, which I totally get. But now we're in this place where we're saying, hey, if you really want to grow, if you really want to scale, if you really want to charge more money for your services, if you want to become an expert, you have to be the person on stage. You have to be the person on a webinar. You have to be the person putting look what we're doing right now. I'm putting myself out there. I'm doing things and you actually watched me live create this Lunch and Learn series a week ago because we kind of did it on the fly at our live event. So how does someone that is very introverted, techie, struggles with those barriers? How do you push yourself to get started and get away from that? Because I think this is something that I see in this industry, specifically this industry, that people don't want to do this because they have this mental block or barriers to entry.
Well, I'm going to take it in a direction that I don't know if you're expecting or not, but I'm going to say you don't have to be the loudest person in the room to be successful. You can be an introvert. That's okay. No one's telling you to change that. I think that we live in a world where it's normal to be the extrovert, or we think it is. That's the thing that you need to be, is be the introvert that goes and talks to everybody and works the room with ease and grace. And they're just able to start a conversation with the wall. You have to be the extrovert to be successful. And I don't think that that's necessarily the truth. I think that you have to find a switch somewhere inside of you where you can turn it on whenever you need it. But don't cover up who you are, because if you are the face of the company, if you are the person who's going to be conducting the CSRAs, you're going to be the one doing the risk assessments, you're going to be the person of contact. You don't want to start out that customer journey pretending to be someone else, pretending to be Mr. Macho, got it all together, super extrovert, and then they get to know you and they're like, who is this dude? Like, they're so different than who they were when I met them. You're going to lose trust. You're going to lose credibility that way. Be yourself. They don't want anyone else. They're not expecting anyone else. Your ideal clients need you to be you, operate in your zone of genius. But again, it comes back to, all right, so I'm going to turn on the switch. And actually, it's really cool, Chris, because I think that our community sees us do this right before we hit live, like on our webinars. You'll say, all right, we're in green room right now. We're just kind of chit-chatting, having a conversation. But whenever we hit live, whenever that switch comes on.
I can talk about how I'm going to go from green room Chris to webinar Chris, right? We talk about stuff.
Yeah. That's and it's not that we're being anyone else, but it's like, all right, I'm going to sit up a little bit taller. We're going to have this conversation. We're going to look at the camera. And for this moment, for this 30-minute block, we're in educate mode. I'm not in sales mode. I'm not here to sell. I'm here to educate you. I'm here to serve you. I'm here to help you. If you have questions, put them in the chat. So you're meeting your people where you are. I don't think it's being anything other than who you are. It's being who you are, coming at it from a place of service. And also just knowing that this is just part of business. Also, if you want to scale, you got to put your face.
That right there is a really good point. And that's kind of where my mindset is around it. Like, so I understand that you're technical. And I've had some clients that are like, look, I'm not going on stage. I've had a guy call me and say, look, I don't care what you do. You will not force me to do webinars. You won't force me to do speaking gigs. You won't force me to you can't make me write emails. That's a choice. I'm not going to say that that's not a choice, but I'm going to tell you right now, you better be very content where you're at, because in today's world, I just don't know that. And hey, if you're content where you're at, there's nobody going to tell you otherwise. That's fine. I have no problem with that. But Lindsay had if you want to grow, if you want to scale, and it has to be a decision of, look, I want to grow my business. And if the answer is no, that's okay. But it kind of, and this is where I was going with it, you kind of have to make a choice of, I want to grow my business, so I have to do these things. Because here's the deal for everyone that's listening live and on the recording. We're in a place now. I'm sitting in my house. Lindsay's in her house. We're across the country from each other.
Yep.
And we are broadcasting to thousands and thousands of people for free. You've never been able to do this in history. We do webinars I do 2 webinars a month, and we have hundreds of people on these webinars. We do Facebook. We have our big Facebook groups. We have all these different things. We have a huge LinkedIn. So my point is, we have the ability to be in front of more people than ever before for cheaper, faster, easier than we've ever done. Mm-hmm. So if you want to grow your company, this is the avenues that you have to do it. And I know it's uncomfortable at times. I know it's not fun. You know what else is uncomfortable? Being broke. You know what else is uncomfortable? Working out for the first time in months. All these things are hard in the beginning. Yep. I was so bad. I remember I said this last week during our Marketing Machine Live as well. The amount of webinars that I've done to 0 people in the room is, I bet you it's over 50. And, I'm watching the numbers right now. We have a ton of people watching live with us right now. That doesn't come by accident. I also am consistently showing up. So you don't have to be perfect at this. I roll in here I got a t-shirt on, right? I mean, I'm sitting in my home office. My dogs are barking. It doesn't have to be perfect, guys. Yep. And this is something that I say a lot. The only thing that's better than perfect is done. And, I saw another thing on Twitter this morning. I'm on Twitter literally like 4 hours a day, probably. But I saw a picture that had a comparison of intensity versus consistency. And intensity was this massive amount of effort in the beginning. And this is a major issue that I see in business owners that start marketing. They get this massive jump, boom, boom, I'm all excited, boom, boom. And then all of a sudden it dwindles off into 0 over a 3-month period. Versus consistency is regular bumps for years. And let's just look at this really quick. I'm sitting here live. I'm going to look at my Facebook really quick, my personal Facebook, and I'm going to look at my memories. Oh, it figures my Facebook memories don't load right now. That's not surprising. Hold on. Let me just make sure this works. Facebook's been really weird. Oh yeah, memories is not loading. Let me see if I can do it on the internet. But what I was going to do is show.
You know, and
I was going to try and show my history, but I had somebody. I was at. You see the shirt says Funnel Hacker on it. I was at ClickFunnels Funnel Hacking Live 2 weeks ago, and I had somebody ask me where my success is, and I did the same thing. I pulled up my Facebook and I looked at the memories, and it said 4 years ago today, did you watch my webinar today? So I've been consistently showing up. And Lindsay, you watched this happen too, because we didn't know each other prior to March of 2022. You've watched the show up. We show up every week.
Every single week, every single day, every single month. We do it over and over and over again. And even last week at Marketing Machine Live, you said to the group, you said, hey, I got this idea last week at this event that I was at. I'm going to do these lunch and learns. We're going to go in, we're going to talk. I don't really have a game plan yet. We're just going to do it. I may not have that great of attendance to begin with, but guess what? Over time, I will. And so it's coming into it with the mindset of like, I may not have hundreds of people there with us right then because I've never done this before. This is a brand new thing, but I know that it's okay. I'm not going to take it personal. And over time, it's going to grow.
Yeah. You just can't let it get to you. So I think, overall messages, we had Lindsay's 3 little things that she said, but overall messages are, you need to market. You need to focus on a specific niche. You need to tackle that niche. And I want to say this as a caveat. I'm never going to sit here and say, as an MSP, only service dentists. No, but your messaging should be dental specific if you're going to target dentists. And then you replicate that. Mm-hmm. Now you got to build that out, make sure it works. Work on all your stuff, and then you pick it up and you mimic it and you tweak it and you evolve it and you get better. And then you have some success and you build some process around it. Then as you are getting better at it, you have something that you can actually hand off to a staffer that works. And magically that has a system associated with it. And now we got something that we can replicate, because far too often we are going to people and saying, hey, I'm going to hire you to do this. Now go build it. People are worker bees for a reason. People are also business owners and leaders for a reason. So it's really difficult to bring someone off the street and pay them even 30, 40, 50 bucks an hour to build something that they don't know what it is without leadership. And, Lindsay, let's just look back at our marketing machine. We launched our marketing machine back in early to mid-March. Mm-hmm. We worked on that together, like brother and sister, like hammering it out back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. We built a wireframe and I'm like, okay, we got to build, here's what I want. And we led it together, but it was not like I just dumped it on you and said, go. Like, so that strategy is so key, in that leadership and that mentorship and that ownership of the product and the system. And what happens in MSP land is you're so comfortable with being a tech that you don't want to do any of that stuff because it's not your wheelhouse. And what I'm going to sit here to say, and I think Lindsay's going to echo this, is if you want to grow your business, really grow to 7 figures, 8 figures, I don't care where you want to go, but if you want to do that, you better become a sales and marketing focused firm. Key. Any thoughts on that as we?
You said it in the very beginning of this live. You said at the end of the day, my job is to drive traffic. Your job, literally, the CEO, we have, I don't even know how many team members we have now. We're growing literally every single month we grow. But at the end of the day, if everything were to come to a complete stop, your job as CEO, the chief visionary of it all, drive traffic, drive leads, get new leads into the door. So that's the case for all of us here, all of you here who are listening and wondering where to get started. It's all right. My job is to drive leads. All right. How am I going to do that?
And yes, still oversee the tech side, but you got to do your best to get out of the trenches on that. And this is something we actively work on with our coaching clients, is we push them, get out of the trenches, get out of the trenches. I know you like it. I know it's fun. I know it's why you started your company, but do you want to grow? Yes. How bad do you want it? That's it. That's literally it for me. How bad do you want this? I want it really bad. Okay. Well, then get the hell out of the trenches.
Did you see the comment yesterday from Riley in the Wisecrack group? I think it was in Wisecrack. He said,
something about shepherding something I saw.
Yeah, right? He said, this is such a great example of this, because I think that he's one of the ones that's had to make that transition from being in the trenches to now becoming the overseer, the leader. And he said, He was asking me for how do I find something? Where do I get this? And he said, my job is to lead, not read. And so it was a great example of like, he's not in the trenches paying attention to all the little things. In this case, he missed out on something really cool. But he said, hey, my job is to lead, not to read. So we sent him in the right direction. He said, all right, awesome. I'm sending my team there. So that's a great example of making that transition.
I think that's really vital. And, you know, Riley's, and what's coincidental also about that whole thing, Riley's from the market that my MSP was in. And we know some of the same people. Yeah, he's from the town. His MSP's in Menominee Falls, Wisconsin. My wife is from Menominee Falls. I'm from Hartford, which is 10 minutes away from there. So we're like southeastern Wisconsin. But so we were like, you know, it's very similar market to that. One other thing I just want to kind of say, and then we'll let you guys go for today because we're like 40 minutes in here. But and Lindsay and I could literally talk about this stuff all day. It's just so easy because it's just natural for us. And what made me think about this was our discussion about where you live this morning. And then I saw somebody else comment on my big Facebook group, the IT and MSP Business Owners group, that they're thinking about relocating to a bigger market because they're just tapped out where they're at. And it's a great example. So I know we have digital presence and we have all this other stuff today, and I'll go all the way back to my own journey. I was in a small market. You heard me just mention Hartford, Wisconsin. If you Google where that is, it's a small market. There's not many people there. There's probably 24,000 people, but back then it was like 12 to 15,000.
Yeah.
That is not enough people to build a multi-million-dollar company without getting out of that general region. So I picked up my company. I had to make a decision. I picked up my company and said, okay, I want to be, and this was a conversation I literally had with myself. That doesn't sound good, but I sat there and had that conversation with myself. Like, how bad, like, what do I want? I want to be a larger MSP because guys, I was not somebody that I was a decent tech, but I didn't want that. I wasn't obsessed with being that control freak tech. I kind of say that a lot, that I was lazy. It wasn't that I was lazy. It's more a matter of I didn't have this control obsession that some people have, which Lindsay, I know you've seen some of that too, because we see some of the personality types that come in. But I said to myself, okay, I want to build a multi-million-dollar company. First of all, you're not going to do that on your own, period. I don't care who you are. You're not going to do that on your own. You need a team. Second, am I going to find that? So I've defined my want. Am I going to find that in Hartford, Wisconsin? The answer is no, I'm not. So I had to pick up, and I had to make a decision. I'm going to drive and market, and keep in mind, this was 2005, 2006, 2007. I think around that area, I actually picked up my company. I wasn't, I don't have the virtual abilities that I have now, but I picked up my company and I moved from Hartford, Slinger, Wisconsin area to Waukesha, Wisconsin, which is a suburb of Milwaukee. And it was 10 minutes from downtown Milwaukee and 20 minutes from basically anywhere in the metro area. I had to make a conscious decision that I'm going to take my business where the people are. So even if you don't, and now we have that flexibility to where, okay, you can take your business to where the people are virtually. Like I live in Austin, Texas. My office is 20 minutes away. I have a WeWork. It is a virtual, it's not even a virtual. We actually have a real physical office, but they do all my mail. That's headquarters. I have all that stuff there. And then I'm 20 minutes out. That's fine. I could even run that from anywhere now. But the challenge that MSP says, you guys got to roll trucks, right? So we got to roll physical stuff. So you have to pick up and go where the people are. And a lot of times, some of the barriers that I see these guys have is this mental block of, I'm not moving. Okay, then you better understand you're not growing. I'm not going to do a virtual office there. I don't want to deal with, okay, well, then you got to make that. That's fine. It's your life. But you can't have one without the other is kind of my point to that.
Yep. There will be handoffs to be made. And I think that whenever they're in the, you have to remember the big vision and, and it's in your endeavor to success, your endeavor to scale, your endeavor to grow. And is it worth it? Is it worth that move? Is it worth that trade that you have to make?
Yeah. Part of the thing too is, and you and I literally had this discussion on our weekly call this morning. Mm-hmm. that push to the unknown creates this growth that you don't expect. And I remember back July 2015, August 2015, I had sold my company in June. I was golfing like 6 days a week. That's what I was doing. I'm like, I worked my ass off for the last 15 years. I'm going to golf for a little while. So I did that. But then my wife was like, I want to move. And I was like, it was uncomfortable. It was not fun. And I was like, we got in a bunch of arguments about it. I was really, I don't want to say battling, but my partner pushed me, forced me.
Yeah.
And it was okay, I see why you want to do this. And I want to encourage all of you guys to push yourselves to grow. I'm not saying pick up and move to Austin, Texas like we did, but I'm going to tell you right now, push yourself to get out of your comfort zone. Push yourself to do something you've never done before. Push yourself to evolve and get to a place, because I will tell you right now, without question, I'm very fortunate in the world that I live in. I have a 10-figure coaching company, blah, 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 all that other stuff. I would not be sitting here if my wife, if left to my own devices, I'd probably still be in Milwaukee. I'd probably still be hanging out with the same people I've done. And it forced me to evolve, and it forced me to grow. And it was really uncomfortable for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
That is the accelerant to what brought me here almost 7 years to the day.
That's so exciting.
We moved here October 1st of 2015.
Wow.
So 7 years to the day. Lindsay, you've been in my house. This place is no joke, right? It's
That's awesome.
And I'm not saying any of this to brag, guys. I'm saying that I would not be here if not for that forced evolution and that growth and that path of the unknown. Mm-hmm. So think about all of that as we talk about marketing, as we talk about sales, as we talk about leadership. Where do you want to be? And then think, am I going to get there in your tiny little town in Georgia? We had that same discussion this morning too, right?
You're speaking right to me right now. I hear you.
That's kind of why I said some of that stuff.
I hear all of it.
And I don't care where you go, but get yourself to a place where you can evolve. And it's what's really nice about having a partner, and you have a partner in your case. I had a partner that was she's a great woman, and she's put me in a place where I've been forced to evolve. And once freed, it's been ain't nothing stopping me kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, cool.
That's okay. Good stuff. That is good stuff. And I think it's speaking to everyone in different ways, whatever that step is for you. Maybe it's not to move. Maybe it's to put yourself out there. Maybe it's to ask for help. Maybe it's to reach out to Chris. Like whatever it is, the thing is taking that one step that's going to get you out of the comfort zone in whatever capacity that means to you. Maybe it's coming to our Q4 event. Wink, wink, hint, hint. which is happening next month. Whatever that means to you, step out of your comfort zone. Look at Amanda. She's on it.
She's on it. She even said, look at this one.
Let's even deal. Be sharing lead gen strategies. Yes, I will be. I'm actually working on that this week, getting prepped for Q4. It's going to be good stuff. Really good stuff. And Chris, you should share on who our speakers are.
Yeah, we got some really great speakers coming. We have first of all, I'll put the URL back up here again, but it's live.sevenfiguremsp.com for anybody that's listening online. But we have Dick Vitale. In fact, I have my Dickie V pullover right here because I was one of the executive producers on the ESPN Films Dickie V show. So if you guys did not see this, it's Dickie V. It's on Hulu, Disney Plus, ESPN Plus. I just dropped that. But Dickie V is going to be there. We also have, and we do a lot of, we got a ton of other industry speakers, a bunch of other stuff. We got Amanda, we got me. But this is also another really cool one. One of my sales heroes is a gentleman named Chet Holmes. He wrote the book, The Ultimate Sales Machine. And a lot of people don't realize this, but the Dream 100 concept came from Chet. It's in the book, The Ultimate Sales Machine. Well, by me, and this is actually a 100% true story. This is exactly what happened. Amanda saw this, and Lindsay, you also saw this. I went to Funnel Hacking Live, which I talked about in my shirt. Amanda Holmes was there. That's Chet's daughter. She was hanging out at a thing. I walked right up to her and talked to her. In fact, let me pull up a picture here on my phone that I can find here. But I talked to her and I said, hey, I'm Chris. Here's what I do. I would really love to have you come speak at my event. In fact, on the screen here, you guys can see this is me and Amanda.
So cool.
And she's coming on the Wednesday of the event. Everybody that comes gets a copy of the brand new revised version of the Ultimate Sales Machine, and she's going to do a whole presentation on the Ultimate Sales Machine, and we're going to put a bunch of stuff in our course. Super excited, but it's a great, like, I practice it. You know this, Lindsay, I practice what I preach a lot. I really go down that path. I work on that personally a lot. I walked right up to this young woman and I said, hey, I'm Chris. I would love to have you come speak at my event. And it's happening. Like, that execution is what gets you there sometimes. So it's really cool.
Good stuff. So come to the event. I'm excited to see Dickie V. I know that he's going to be talking on like success and failures and moving through that. I'm really excited for that conversation.
And if I don't know if you've watched this, I'm a huge sports guy. I played sports my whole life. I'm a golfer. I played multiple league sports here in Austin. Go watch football, all this other stuff. But if you have not seen the Jim Valvano speech from ESPN, you should go watch that, Lindsay. I know you're not a huge sports person, but just Google Jimmy V speech.
Okay.
It's going to make you bawl because he was like weeks from passing away from cancer. They announced the Jimmy V Cancer Foundation there. Well, Dickie V is the guy that just got the Jimmy V Award.
Wow.
This past at the ESPY Awards. He's a legend in the sports community. I'm very honored to be part of his event, and I'm really honored that he's going to come speak at our event. So I think it's going to be really cool. I'm very excited about that. So, okay, I'm going to let you guys go today. Lindsay Badillo, thank you so much. Really great conversation. I got a little emotional at the end there with that whole discussion about Jimmy V and cancer, because it's I will tell you that I'm going to challenge you to go watch that before our all-home call today, because it's going to move you to tears.
Homework. How did I come to this call and now I'm leaving with homework?
I'm going to make you do some sports stuff. So, okay. For everybody that's watching live, it's great to have you guys with us today here for another Lunch and Learn. We are doing this every single Wednesday at 12 p.m. Central. It is streamed live in our IT and MSP Business Owners group, streamed live on our Inner Circle Clients group, also on my Facebook page, on my personal wall, on our YouTube channel, and our LinkedIn. For everybody that's listening to the 7-Figure MSP podcast, great to have you guys. Please tune in and watch some of us our stuff live. Our goal is to help you succeed in your business, even if you just consume all of our content for free. And if you want to book a call with us, I shared my banner earlier, but I'm going to do it one more time. 7figuremsp.com/book-your-call. I got to change that URL. That URL sucks. But anyway, Lindsay Badillo, great job today. Great to have you. And we'll see the rest of you guys soon. Have a great day. Go crush some deals. Take care. Bye-bye.
Awesome. See you later.